In this video, I'm going to graph some lines. You'll notice that they're all special lines. The first one is a diagonal. So is the second one. And so is the last one. The one in the middle is actually a horizontal line. I can tell that it's horizontal because there's no x here. Compare that to the other ones. X, X, X. We've also been given a graph to compare to, y equals x. You might like to think of this as y equals 1x. Okay, let's look at our first equation, y equals 5x. And we have to ask ourselves, how steep is this? Well, its gradient is 5, which means it's quite steep. Certainly steeper than a gradient of 1. So I'm going to draw a steep line that goes through the center of the graph. Let's look at my next equation. Its gradient is negative 0.2. The negative means that it will be going downhill. And then we have to ask ourselves, how steep is it? 0.2 is a pretty small number, certainly less than 1. So that means our gradient's pretty flat. I'm going to draw a downhill graph that's quite flat. Notice that when I say downhill, I always mean left to right. Imagine skiing across the page from left to right, you're going downhill. Let's look at our next graph. We've already seen that there's no x. So what does it mean to say that y equals 3? Well, it literally means that the y-coordinate is 3. Not just this y-coordinate of 3, but every y-coordinate of 3. If I join up all of those points, I get my graph. All of those points have a y-coordinate of 3. And now let's look at our final graph. Y equals negative x. Well, the x tells me it's going to be a diagonal graph. The negative tells me that it's going to be going downhill. And you could think of this as a negative 1x. So it's like your basic steepness. Now I'm done.